Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking once again about Tonix Pharmaceuticals. Now, I actually had a subscriber who wanted me to talk about this, and so I thought we'd go ahead and make another video. So if you guys have any recommendations about stocks you want me to talk about on the channel, please leave them below. I do read those, and I thank you guys for providing whatever you guys want to see on the channel. I also have a Patreon where if I do decide to discuss a new stock, you'll learn about it on there first. Check that out. It's for $5 a month. Great way to support the channel. And with that being said, TNXP, Tonix Pharmaceuticals, is trading at $9.67. And this is following the reverse split, which happened. And so when we look at the reverse split, this also coincides with the goal date of August 15th, 2025. That's really when we saw the stock go parabolic, was when August 20... Yeah, it was, it was December 27th. Or December 23rd, it looks like, when the stock actually went parabolic and then peaked off. And ever since then, the stock's been in the gutter. And now we've had the reverse split news, the 1-for-100 reverse split. Now, nobody's really happy about this. I mentioned it as a risk back in November when we were talking about this stock. And when we were talking about this stock in October, November on this channel, keep in mind, the stock was under 20 cents a share pre-split. So post-split, the equivalent of, let's say, 20 cents a share for this stock would be $20 per share due to the fact that they did a 1-for-100 reverse split. But with that being said, we have to remember that this is never going to be viewed as a positive. And so even though we have the catalyst still, which is the August 15th, 2025 goal date for the TNX-102 SL fibromyalgia drug, even though that's on the table, people are not satisfied with the reverse split. It's just how things play out in the markets. The sentiment is very negative. And so since the reverse split has happened, the equivalent was $15 a share when the split went through. And now we're trading under $10 a share, $9.67 to be exact. This is finviz.com. But it shows you the devastating impact on the share price. After all these splits, the equivalent of $1,000 down to less than $10 is a significant decline. What is that? 99% decline on your money from just holding this. And that's the thing, right? So how much can shareholders take before they are hoping and praying, for something to happen here? And the truth is, it can take a long time. And that's exactly what we've seen. So even though we got that quick 1,000%, and yes, that can happen again, keep in mind that just because it can happen again doesn't mean it should happen again for any amount of time. And the truth is, we have a good amount of time, potentially August 15th still, 6+ months, which in terms of a stock like this, that's actually a very long time in my opinion. So when we're thinking about time frames, remember 6 months potentially from February or going into August. I guess a little bit less than 6 months now. But the point is, that is still a big risk you have to consider, because what happens if the sentiment just dries up and people get impatient and waiting? What happens when this thing does not recover? And I'm going to go grab my tea. I'll be right back. Gotta make some green tea, Anyway, so on the flip side of that, you have the potential for this stock to go parabolic if the FDA does in fact make the positive decision here by August 15th. So less than 6 months from now, we could see that the decision is very positive for this. And if that does happen, then watch out. Because even though we've seen such a negative sentiment shift in the stock, and the equivalent of the price right now is 9 cents. Remember, right? I talked about this stock when it was about 15 to 20 cents a share. So that gives you perspective back in October, before it went on the 1,000% run real quick and then crashed. Once this news came out about the goal date and everything, that was the official, basically final day where everything started to crumble. With that in mind, you can see something like that again, but the goal date's not until August 15th. So if the decision is positive, you still have a good amount of time potentially, and maybe there's a run-up going into, as we get closer to this date, as anticipation starts to build. There's a number of things that could happen. So we know that there's different sentiment shifts that can happen based upon a variety of factors. But right now, we're kind of in that recovery phase, I think, after this reverse split. And keep in mind with this, they did a 1 for 100. The outstanding shares are only 5.2 million. It also gives you the market cap of 52.6 million. This is on otcmarkets.com, where you can check this updated information, and you can see here the outstanding shares and the market cap. But it's just a matter of waiting now until things really begin to play out here. And we did see this. So we have Tonix Pharmaceuticals recently announced preliminary full year 2024 operating results and year-end cash. So Tonix Pharmaceuticals reports preliminary 2024 financial results with $98.8 million in cash as of December 31st, 2024. The company generated $10.1 million in net sales from migraine products, up from $7.8 million in 2023. And we have a net operating loss, which was $126.6 million, including $59.0 million in non-cash impairment charges. And so it also talks about becoming debt-free after repaying a mortgage to JGB Capital and raising $30.4 million through ATM facility in Q1 2025. So the goal date still remains of August 15th, as we discussed, and operating cash burn decreased to $60.9 million from $102 million in the previous year. So those are all positive things we're seeing happen. And we have net sales increasing, operating cash burn decreasing. We're having debt-free after a mortgage repayment, $30.4 million in additional funding through an ATM facility, and cash runway extended into Q1 2026. So we have a good cash runway here, a good setup. And now the question is, where does the stock trade over the next few months as we potentially await this goal date? Because even though it is August 15th, that doesn't mean it's going to happen on August 15th. But just remember, this could kind of unfold at any time. There's a lot of things that can happen between now and then. But at the same time, I wouldn't get too excited just because the main thing is still going to be that catalyst. That's what we're looking for. Beyond that, there's other things that can happen, but it's all about sentiment in the meantime and how people feel about Tonix. And that can change on a consistent basis. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning into this video. I just wanted to kind of make a brief video about Tonix. I know this has been a stock we've discussed in the channel a lot. There's been a lot of people interested in this, and so that's why I wanted to kind of bring this up. So not a lot has changed since the last time we've talked, but they did have the announcement of these results, which I found online here. I think this is a good, I'll leave this link down below if you want to take a look. I think these are a lot of great points here, and the numbers from what we're seeing look very good. I like these numbers, and I think this is something to really think about here as well, because that's going to give them a good cash runway to get into 2026 as they hopefully by then are approved fully and they can start selling and distributing their TNX-102 SL drug, which will add to their balance sheet, add to their cash flows, and hopefully get this thing up and running. So thank you so much for tuning in once again, guys, and stay tuned for further videos. Stay tuned for videos pretty much every week. We are going out of town here shortly, but with that being said, we wish you guys the best with everything, and take care. Thanks so much for tuning in.